This is Patty Hammond, and we're glad you're here at the talk that they're going to give on tips and tricks for senior living. So I'll hand it over.
There you go. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Pastor Bob. Thank you guys so much for having us this morning. I just want to let you know, please help yourself. We do have some light refreshments up here. We have some blueberry and banana nut muffins, as well as some assorted Danish. So if anybody wants to, before we even get started, please come up and take a bite. Don't all jump at once. You sure? Can't tempt you with a little nibble? Well, you can feel free to come up anytime you want. Okay, how's that? All right, very good. So I want to do a little tiny experiment while we're in here. I want to say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so and we have 12 technically, and then 13, 14, 15. Okay, so we need at least 3 people, only 3, just for a quick second. All you have to do is stand up. You don't have to do anything else but stand up.
All right, I'm already standing.
Okay, you're already standing, so we got 1. Karen's like, I'm out of here now.
I'll stand up.
All right, perfect. Anyone more? I'm gonna call him. Oh, there you go. All right, perfect. All right. So the reason why I had them do this, okay, is because, and Patty can attest to this as well. In the industry that we work in, about 80 to 85% of the people who would call in to a senior living community or a nursing home are in immediate need of assistance. The other percent have not done any research or have started that process yet. And, well, good morning. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, is that these 3 people who are standing are the very few in the room, and if you will, in the community, who have done the research, who have participated in an event like this where you want to learn about the transition to senior living, where you've gone out, you've taken a tour at one of the local senior communities, you've done your research, and maybe you've already started downsizing and going through things in your home, and you're a little bit more prepared, if you will, as to those who, unfortunately, if something, God forbid, happens. I've had somebody call it the oh crap moment, if we all know what that means. Mom fell, she's in the hospital, the social worker says, well, she's being discharged tomorrow. You have no idea where she's going, things like that. So I want to thank the 3 of you for standing. You can go ahead and have a seat, but I just wanted to put that in perspective as far as how few people will actually take the initiative to start that transition. So what Patty and I are here for today is to try to help bridge that gap, okay?
What was that percentage?
80 to 85% who come to us in immediate need of assistance. And I'll tell you, it breaks our heart every day. We want to help people as much as we possibly can. We just wish that we could help them earlier into the transition. We don't want you to be faced with all those hardships, having to sell your home in a very short period of time. I mean, it hits home with me, and I get emotional sometimes when I talk about it, but it happened with my grandma. She had fallen, and it was the 3rd fall that really did her in, and unfortunately, she could no longer take care of herself on her own. My mom sold her house, and they moved in all together within a 3-month period of time, which is a lot, as I'm sure you could probably imagine. But it's a lot, it's a lot of things that you need to take care of, a lot of hoops that you need to jump through. And I had somebody tell me once, Lauren, it's like eating an elephant. And how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. So I do want to pass out, I'm going to have, here Patty, we can do this together here. We're going to dive right into some tips and tricks. So this is a little form that we created. It's called 30 Days of Downsizing for Seniors. I have 4 here. There you go.
Isn't it awesome?
Got enough there in the back. There you go. There you go, Chuck. Okay. I love how you're all starting to read it already. That's perfect. So we're going to start with the first one listed here. So, and I have to just applaud you all for even being here. So that just tells me that you guys know that life is what it is. you know, it's the inevitable, it's the thing we can't avoid, unfortunately. But you're doing the right thing just even being here, truly. So, and by that, it's creating a plan and a realistic goals to downsizing. Now, you've probably all lived in your home for a very long period of time, you know, 30, 40, 50 years. You've accumulated a lot of things over that period of time, and it doesn't just get cleared out in a day, okay? As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day and it wasn't taken down in a day, so always think realistic goals. Next thing on the list is filling out your emergency contact list. How many of you, show of hands, have your dentist business card up on your fridge, maybe a doctor's appointment card on this side, and down below is maybe your insurance guy or agent, or, you know, how many have like all those different business cards on your fridge? And here you go. It's okay. My mom's the same way. Look, Pastor Bob does it too, okay? So what I want to share, that second form to pass out, is why don't we keep it all on one place? So that way, if God forbid, if you've fallen or you can't find that number, go home and organize all of your important people. Or God forbid, if you fall, fire department comes, hey, who's the person that we should call? You know, is it your son? Is it your daughter? Is it your spouse? So I'm going to pass these out. Okay. Yeah, and there's magnets to even attach it to your fridge. Okay, we made it simple and easy for everybody. But these are a great thing to have. That way everybody is all in one place. There you go. Always recommend doing this. There you go. Some more, yeah, we got some more. Yes. You got one? Everybody good? Oh, that was cute. That was fun. Everybody got one? Yeah. Sure. Sure. The more the merrier. There you go. All right, everybody have an emergency contact list form? Perfect. So this should help organize all the important people, emergency contacts, police, fire, who to call, okay? So my first tip to everybody is to go ahead and get that filled out, because that will help moving forward. All right, next on the list, let's go through your closet. That's a tough one. I understand, because we don't want to have to go through clothes. Good morning. How are you? Oh, perfect, thank you. All right. Let's see, where were we? All right, so going through closet. Another suggestion, and I'm going to point this one out. Sounds silly, but it's a really good thing to do. It's going through your kitchen cabinets and your bathroom cabinets. Now, I know that sounds like an elephant to eat, probably 2 elephants, but I would recommend doing 1 or 2 a day. Just kind of feel out how comfortable you are doing it. You know, if you feel getting a little tired doing 1, stop at 1, and then put another one maybe next week or the day after, okay? Same thing with the bathroom cabinets. This one is a big one, okay? If you're gonna hear anything today, make sure you hear this. Organize all your important legal documents into 1 binder. Raise your hand if you've already done it. Oh, love it. Okay, if you notice there's a little arrow next to it. It says, tell a loved one or friend where that binder is located. Very important. Does everybody in your family know where that binder is located? Maybe. Some of you are afraid to answer that question.
Waiting for my granddaughter, she says, she knows where everything is, but it's time he learns to.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll be honest, my grandpa on my husband's side passed away. When he passed away, my mother-in-law called us over about 6 to 8 months after he passed, and she said, Lauren, come upstairs with me real quick. And I said, okay, what's up? And it was my husband's old bedroom, and they, turned it into a different room. She said, do you see this little gray cabinet here? And I said, yeah. She said, every single important document that we have is in here. So I love how you're all shaking your heads, because that's so important, But unfortunately, they didn't have that when her dad had passed, when Grandpa John passed. So she saw unfortunately, that was a lot of pain and time that it took to gather all that documentation up and have it in one place. So, very good, and big claps, and proud of all of you who already have it all organized. So, all right, next one is looking into getting an emergency pendant. Okay, I always ask this question, and Patty will laugh every time I do this, but we always ask our residents, who, by the way, are already administered an emergency pendant, but raise your hand if you have an emergency pendant. I have two. It's on the phone too. It's okay if you say the phone or watch it. That works too. How many? Keep your hand up if you are wearing it. Okay. One in the room. How many? It happens. It happens. Patty, where are they normally at?
Next to the bedside.
Nightstand.
Nightstand.
At the
It's
nightstand.
easy when it goes one.
Dresser drawer.
Dresser drawer. Close enough. Close enough, Chuck. Right. I always get on everybody. I'm like, okay, you have one, but it's not going to do anything unless you wear it. Right, Patty?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right, next thing is meeting with a real estate agent to discuss the sale of your home, okay? Always good to have, just to know what your value of your home is, okay? Next is start researching senior living communities. Obviously, we would love to have everybody at Shepherd. If you ever want to come for a tour, you let us know. But always just see what's out there. What's going to be the best fit for you guys, okay, or your loved ones. Then start touring senior living communities. I also suggest to try the food. I have to just do a little plug for our chefs because the food at Shepherd is fantastic. I did not gain 60 pounds for nothing when I was pregnant with both my boys. Just saying. Next is cleaning out your fridge and freezer. Throw out any old food. Okay. Cleaning out books and media. This one, that is a hard one. That is a hard one, but you can always donate too as well. Same thing when it comes to. I'm sorry.
Can we do that after?
Can we do that? You sure can.
It's probably called the dumpster at that point.
Oh.
As opposed to
Donate
intentionally giving them someplace.
There you go. I do love this next one here, and I actually heard this piece of advice come from a professional home organizer, which is take photos of the items that you plan to donate. So let's just say, for example, if there's something that you've been holding on to and you just don't want to let it go, and you've tried and tried to push it off to a family member, and they just don't want it, right? You're laughing, Jackie, I know, but it's probably true, right? It happens.
Play your piano.
Do you see what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, exactly, a piano. Take a picture of it. And then once you do donate, or maybe if you sell it, whatever the case is, you still have that item. You still have a picture of it, and it does help with the transition of that. So, I know it's not like having the actual piano, but it is a good way to just have that memory. Okay. Next thing I do have on here, just following senior living communities on social media. You know, is that senior living community one that you feel it would be fun to live at? You know, look at their activities that they do. Do they go on trips? You know, that kind of thing. So it's always good just to see what's going on at the different communities.
You can also come for a visit and attend one of those activities also, so you can kind of get a feel. So if you're following them and they are doing something like a mahjong tournament or a card party, you can always call and attend. And it's always fun to get to know some of the residents in a more familiar setting.
And who better to talk to, guys, than the residents themselves? You know, again, whether it's Shepherd or somebody else, you'd be surprised how many times people will come to Shepherd and they, oh, I didn't know that Diane lived here. You know, and then it's like they're old buddies. You know, it's like how you and I talk. You know, you just don't even realize who you're going to run into. So it really is a good tip to just start looking to see what's out there. Let's see. Next on my list. Oh, researching local moving companies. okay? There's a lot of great ones that are out there, or let's just say even if you have some, I had a woman who came up to me once at a presentation and she said, Lauren, I have 4 sets of living room furniture and I need to get rid of 3 of them because I can't move them all. I said, oh my goodness, you're right. She was trying to sell them, she didn't know what to do. So I helped her out and told her who to call. Well, I made a suggestion, I should say, on who to call. I will do just a little plug, our good friends over at Express Junk Removal. It's not always junk. They could take out a fridge for you. They could take care of a big heavy TV that maybe you can't, lift or get rid of. They can help out. I thought that their services were more of a, they'll clean out an entire house, which they can do, but they could also just do something as moving that table that's under that television. Okay? Yeah, they're pretty good. It's called Express Junk Removal. Good company. They've helped a lot of our residents at Shepherd and all the different communities, so yeah, they're good guys. Next one on here, hopefully makes you laugh, but take a break. You've been working hard, all right? There's gotta be an easy day in there during the week. Next on here, I do have, there's two things, is arranging a living will or trust, and the sad one that no one ever wants to look at is the pre-planning for funeral arrangements. I will say we have had multiple downsizing seminars at our different communities, and I have had people from Youngstown Diocese who have come, and they're one of the 5 presenters, and every time they go to introduce themselves, you hear everybody go, whoa, whoa. and everybody's like has that doom and gloom look. But I will tell you, out of a financial planner, out of an elder attorney, out of a professional home organizer, myself, and somebody else, a real estate agent, they're the #1 person that people want to talk to because they say, I've been putting this off, I'm putting it off, I think you were here today because I needed to take care of this. So it's one of those bites of the elephant that we just got to bite, unfortunately. Next thing is cleaning out your laundry room. How many have a ton of extra hangers that you just never use? Right? Sitting in a pile somewhere. I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I'm guilty, If they're not using them and they're just sitting there, go, donate them. Or a dumpster, whatever. Going through your kids' keepsake items and give them to them.
They don't want them.
Well, and that's
They want pictures of them, they don't want them.
I love it. What's that?
I said, but they always want a trophy, so just say it's a trophy day, and here's your trophy.
There you go. There you go. It's picture day. Here's all your pictures that I've been holding on for the last 30 years.
Just leave them on your phone.
Right? There you go, Jack. There you go. No, but that's a big one. That is a big one. I mean, and I'm guilty too, you guys. I promise. My next door neighbor, I love her dearly, and if she was here, she'd be like, Lauren, I told you. Before I had kids, and we became very close during COVID, and again, she lives next door. And I went into her basement the one day, and she was showing me something, and she has like bins upon bins, like to the ceiling, of her daughters, who, by the way, are now 16 and 14, of clothes when they were 3 months old. 3 months old. Why?
Because it was theirs.
I know, but those were my favorite outfits, Lauren. That's what she would tell me. I'm like, but Jess, they're never going to wear them again. Clearly, like, are you putting them on dolls? Like, they don't even use dolls anymore, or teddy bears, whatever it would be. But she had bins upon bins upon bins, and then more bins sprinkled in. Okay, and then I had kids, and now I'm the bin lady. So I'm also guilty. But you got to realize that, you know what, you just can't keep everything. That's the moral of that story. So, all right, next thing. Oh, this is a big one. Going through old documents and mail. How many of you hold, well, you don't want to, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand because you'll probably be embarrassed to do that, as would I. If you hold on to every single bill that you have paid and you put check number 7294. See, I know, we've all done it, we've all been guilty. You don't need to hold on to every single paid bill.
Just like the IRS.
I think, I was trying to count the years.
7 years.
It's 7 years.
7 years.
So anything prior to that, it's called a shredding machine. tear it up, yeah. That's a big one. Cleaning out a medicine cabinet. And actually, we're thinking about doing this. We've talked about doing, a local senior fair where you can bring your old medications and properly disposing of them, okay? I do wanna look at, do you know of any local places who,
Walgreens.
is it Walgreens that will take them?
Yes.
Okay, and CVS, so your local pharmacy, there you go. There you go. Who will take, properly dispose of your medications, but.
Very, very important, because what medications worked for you a year ago might not work for you now.
Yeah.
It is not good to take older medications, or, oh, I'm running out of my prescription, oh, I have this one from a couple years ago, it'll work, it doesn't work. So it's really important, and so you don't get mixed up too. I mean, the labels are very hard to read, things look the same, pills look the same. So it's really important to dispense of those medications, when they expire. And, or if you got a new prescription, taking the old prescription is not a good thing.
Plus two, it just puts you more at risk that when you go to grab one, what if you grab the wrong one? Because you've kept an old expired one in the cabinet. So try to keep up on what's expired. Very important. All right, this one is one of my favorite ones, okay, because I'm a color coding kind of gal and I like Post-its. So labeling items that you want to keep or give away or even donate or never know. Just donate it. I love it. I love it. But really, truly, just going through your home and knowing that, you know what, this is something that I have to have this vase. I just, my daughter made it in a pottery class and I can never ever get rid of it. It's never leaving. Okay, it could be something as silly as that. But that way again, God forbid the oh crap moment happens. You've fallen, you went to the hospital, and now, you're gonna be going into a senior living community. We know that that's coming. That is a absolute must item. So labeling those keepsakes that you definitely wanna have, or even just putting them in empty out one of those bins with those 3-month clothing, and put your keepsakes in there, okay? Organizing, your cleaning supplies, okay? If you have held on to ones that maybe are way older than they should be. It's always good to go through those and get rid of what's no longer good to use in the house. Clean and organize linen closet. This is also a big one. How many of you have 10 sets of towels? I love first the little laughs, because if you can tell who over this table probably has done it, right? Do you need all 10? Probably not. Could they be donated? Maybe. Or see if the family needs an extra pair of cleaning or cleaning out the car. Okay. Same with hand towels. Oh, I'm guilty on that one. I mean, I got one for every season, every holiday, every color. I know. I'm guilty too. Donate any old or unwanted furniture. Again, going back to the woman who told me she had 4 sets of living room furniture. Okay. Always good to get rid of or donate. And last, I have donate any old or unwanted decorations. Ladies, I'm looking at you. I know that we have all accumulated a lot of fun decorations over the years. Unfortunately, once we do end up downsizing, we can't have it all, So again, just like that little vase over there, picking our favorites. Okay. I did leave a little open section on the bottom right-hand corner there, just in case if there's a goal in mind that you're all thinking of right now, because there was a reason why you guys all came here this morning. I want you to write that, if it's not on here, I want you guys to take a second and write down what it was that you wanted to accomplish. And if anybody wants to ask or share what that reason is, feel free. We're all friends here. If not, it's on your to-do list.
What about a will?
That is on here.
Yeah.
Arranging a living will and trust. There's a lot of good elder attorneys out there. We've worked with so many good ones that are out there. If anybody needs assistance, we're getting in touch with them, please let us know. We're happy to point you in the right direction with people who've been really great to our families and our residents.
But not everybody has this, but you have your animals.
Mm-hmm.
You better find a home for them.
Correct.
Very good
Because I
point.
downsized 23 years ago when my husband died.
Got rid of all this.
And what?
I got rid of my house, I got rid of my horses.
You have
Oh,
horses?
horses.
Oh, wow.
We had what they called high flyers, they look a lot like the Budweiser horses, but they're
Oh,
a
like
hand
a
short.
Clydesdale.
They're a hand short of being a horse. They're
Wow.
buggy horses.
Oh, how beautiful. I'm a horse fan.
So I downsized 23 years ago, and I have a lady that comes in and cleans for me.
Nice.
We have done almost everything you have on here. She says you don't need, she'll pick it up and she'll say, now you don't need this. And she's kind of forceful.
Aw.
But I downsized from a farm to an apartment.
Wow.
And like I told my granddaughter, I said, I just can't, I know I can't take everything with me, so we'll just see what will go in the apartment and everything else has to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it takes a while. It's not gonna happen overnight,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
I mean, what was the time period, if you don't
My
mind me
husband
asking?
died March the 9th, and in May I was in my apartment.
Wow. That's
I have
actually,
a
that's pretty
granddaughter
soon.
that's
That's
very
very
old.
That's very soon, so I tip my hat to you. Wow.
Because you would
Well, I
say,
was raised that way with my
Oh.
mother.
because what would you say for the other 20% of the people, how long does it take them to get from point A to point B?
Depending on the situation and depending on, so, and again, Patty can attest to this, she's our admissions and marketing coordinator at Boardman Community. Depending on the family who is here, who is helping or maybe lack of help, if we will. It depends on those local resources, so like if, for example, my mom is the only one that lives local with, and my grandma's at Shepherd Poland, actually in our assisted living. But my uncle and my aunt live in Arizona. So everything kind of falls on my mom. I'm not knocking them, of course, but it kind of falls on the person who's doing it. So it really does depend on the help that
The
they
support
have.
system that you have right here. So,
Because if the senior's not able to do it themselves, they really are relying and dependent on that family member.
It also empowers the individual to make decisions for their own belongings and their items. When it's sometimes if a family member comes to us and they're in the facility and their family's doing everything, it's very unempowering. They feel helpless, they feel, depressed because someone's making all their decisions. If you start making decisions for yourself, it's more empowering. You're more in control of your situation instead of all your control being taken away from you and you're not feeling well. So it's nice that when people come to us and they have everything in place, it's more relaxing for the family and for the individual.
I couldn't agree with her more. That is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I agree with her completely because we want you all to make your own decisions. This is your life and it's how you want to continue living it. It's your decision, so make the decision, even if it's 5, 10, 15 years still down the road, whatever it might be, at least know what you want ahead of time and make sure your family knows what you want now and before, if there, God forbid, becomes a time where you're unable to tell them what it is that you want. Okay. Yes, Jerry?
Along with the will, everybody should have a medical and financial power of attorney.
Absolutely.
If that doesn't happen before they can't make a decision and sign papers, then things get all messy.
Absolutely. That is a big, big item to look into. Any questions that anybody has?
On the will, my mother passed a while back. She had on the will, how her assets would be divided up. And at the end of it, it says, and if any family member challenges that, they're out.
Oh. Love that.
That's not, I'm paraphrasing the term.
That's what she wanted, so that's very nice that she put that out there. So there was no conflict, during the time of probate. It's very smart.
And it worked very well.
Oh, I'm sure. I love that, it worked very well.
Yes, because how often should wills be updated?
is actually a very good question. I've never been asked that one.
From my experiences, like major purchases, purchasing a house, if you would sell property and it's not, because originally it was probably listed on your documentation, you might wanna have that revised because you've already sold the property. Or if you have heavy investments and your investments are taking off, like when you first did your will, people that are younger when they first do their will, and then after they accumulate items, say they buy a boat, a car, a house,
Or if someone
the-
passes away,
right.
who was your beneficiary. and
Correct,
You need
correct.
to switch
So
it to
those-
somebody else.
Keep an eye on that, but if you're basically the status quo, nothing's majorly changed, it will still, it's a good idea.
Also, if the family members die out.
That's, yeah, if
Correct.
someone, God forbid, passes away, you gotta make sure you have
Out
another
of six
person.
on me, myself, and a disabled brother.
Very good. Any other questions or any other tips and tricks that maybe you would like to add on here? Any more you can think of? Yes, say. No, I love it.
The only one, well, I just wanted to say that if anyone has the extra towels and things like that,
Yeah.
if some are like not good to donate, you can take them to a pet shelter.
Absolutely.
And they always want their old
That's a good
blankets.
idea.
and
Great, that's a great suggestion. Yeah.
Angels for Animals
I
takes
was just gonna say.
They take blankets,
Mhm.
blankets all the time because they get destroyed or they send them home with pets. And I was there, we do a partnership with them around February timeframe. And they said that's one thing that they're always in need of is towels and blankets and things like that. Because those are kind of things that they come and go.
Pet food.
That's what we, yeah, that's,
Pet food.
Patty did an amazing job earlier this year.
Yeah,
I should
good.
say. It's like I'm already in 2024. But we had a wonderful, pet event over at our Bourbon community, and you had endless
Yes, we
supplies.
had 2 big truckloads of food that we were able to donate from people in the community that brought dog food and cat litter and things like that.
So
It was so nice.
It was very overwhelming, but like I got goosebumps even talking about it.
But they're a
It's really
great
cool.
resource if you have a pet and you know that you're not gonna be able to take your pet with you. Angels for Animals is a great resource to start talking to them because you don't have to donate your pet to them. They can go out in the community while your pet's still with you and find somebody for your pet. So it's a great organization.
Do you have any tips for how do you decide what city you want to have your retirement place in? If you have no family here, would you recommend finding a place in a city where you have family who's gonna have to be your power of attorneys anyways?
You can.
It depends on, yeah, I mean, if it's your family or if you would prefer to be closer to your friends or vice versa. It really just depends on, who you would wanna be able to count on outside.
Just because we're so interconnected in our facility, we have family that's in California, Texas, New York State, and we keep them in touch all the time, phone calls, emails, FaceTime. So there's a lot more technology now than we had before.
So you don't see a hardship when the end comes or decisions about the end come, the distance?
No.
Is not.
Not at all, not at all. Mhm.
Just make sure your will is transferable to that state. Otherwise, some states don't honor a will from another state.
But my father lives in an assisted living facility in Pennsylvania. He didn't want to move. He liked his his friends and his community there. He lived there most of his life. And I get phone calls and emails and FaceTime. So I feel very comfortable in the distance, and so does he, and especially during COVID too. But so I find in my own personal that my father was a lot happier being in his community with his friends and peers than moving to a whole different place where he wouldn't known anybody. And that's just my experience. But I think it's everybody's experience is different.
And is there a waiting list for your villas now?
Yes. Yeah. That is, I'm glad that you asked that question. as if there was a waiting list. The answer is yes. That is a very big tip that I can give to everybody, because let's just say again that you're not ready. Let's say that if it was 5-10 years down the road, we will literally have your application on the desk, ready to call. When an apartment or a villa, condo becomes available, we will call you and say, hey Jackie, this is available for you, and say, you know what, Lauren, thank you for calling, but I'm just not ready yet. Okay, that's fine. We'll put you right back in the pile, but at least your name is on the list. And you never know, we might give you a call that one day and we're like, hey Jackie, just calling you again, wanted you to know, and it's a couple months down the road, whatever it is, could be a year down the road. And you go, you know what, it's time. It just depends, but at least you're on the list, because then you will go ahead of anybody coming in from the outside.
And how many villas do you have?
So at our Poland community, I believe we have 86, I wanna say it is, for the independent condos.
And that's the 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, that's
Yes.
a combination of 90 of them, 86. And how many are on the waiting list?
Oh, I have to ask Kristen that question. I'd have to get the
20?
but I'd probably say close to like 10 to 15.
And so she said no, does she go to the bottom?
Not that you don't go to the bottom, well, actually, I mean,
I've been on the list since, end of July for the condos.
And you haven't been contacted yet?
Now, she said at that time, it's usually a 6-month, maybe 8-month, but if I could call, I don't like the unit, I go back, but I don't go to the bottom list.
You go to the bottom?
No,
no, she does not go
You
to
just-
the bottom.
You just,
Just wait till the next one.
And some people have their heart set on a certain unit, certain layout, and if they want to, they're more than willing to hold out for that one unit, but we will let you know if a different unit, different layout becomes available, because maybe it is that time, even though it's not the same one that you absolutely loved, but it's time to make that move, there's one available, so, because you're on the list.
I wanted to ask you, do you rent or do you buy those villas?
So it's essentially a lease, so you can put money down on the condo or villa, and then that would, just like how you would kind of like leasing a car, it would then lower the amount, however much you put money down, it would then lower that monthly payment for you. And whatever, go
But
ahead.
actually you buy those, you don't rent those?
No, it's like a lease.
Oh, it's a lease,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
But the
so
down
let's-
payment
it's a
is
down payment.
refundable when you're done using it.
Correct, so hypothetically, let's say you put $100,000, let's say you sold your home and you put $150,000 down. That deposit is 100% refundable.
Refundable, okay.
Or say, God forbid, something happened to you, you could say where that monies are going to. I also do wanna point out something that's really important, is that, let's just say, for example, if you are an independent resident, assisted living resident at Shepherd of the Valley, God forbid something happens and you need to go into a skilled nursing for rehab, let's say you fell, broke your hip, you need rehabilitation for a couple days or a couple weeks, you do get priority admission. So because you're already a resident at Shepherd, you go to the top of the pile as compared to somebody from coming, say, from the hospital, somebody from the outside. Okay.
Then I wanted to ask you, that refundable deposit, if you have to go into a nursing home, you could use that money to pay your nursing home? Okay.
Absolutely. All good questions. Any other questions from anybody?
I have a question about if you end up in hospice. I think you have a wing at West Boulevard. That's a hospice wing, right?
We have skilled nursing. We do have some hospice individuals, but we don't just have a wing for hospice. So,
We
have
have a
hospice
wing for
contracts.
Alzheimer's up in Liberty.
up in Liberty we do.
Yeah.
Memory care, yes.
So if you're in your skilled nursing and you're really in hospice care, you hire an outside hospice agency to come in?
Correct, we contract with a couple different ones.
Okay, so that was gonna be my question. Do you
Yeah.
know who you contract with? at this time?
Traditions Health, Southern Care Hospice, Grace Hospice, which was formerly, Harmony Cares, which was formerly Grace Hospice. They just changed their name, my apologies. And then there's another one I'm trying to think of, what can I
So
say?
the
Hospice of the Valley, thank you, yes.
which is the most popular one right now, Hospice of the Valley.
They're all great ones.
Great chefs.
What's that?
They have great chefs.
Oh, the
Food's
chefs are,
amazing.
I'm telling you, if you guys
And
wanna come in
hospice
for a tour, we will
Right.
fill your bellies. I can't say enough about our chefs at all of our communities. They really do fantastic work. I'm the one that, you know, we go out in the community, we'll go to the hospitals, doctors' offices and whatnot, we'll bring food out, even if I do like a big, large dinner presentation somewhere, and they're like, wow, where did you get this? And somebody will say, oh, the girl from Shepherd brought it. You know, they said, well, yeah, but where did you buy it? And I said, no, it's actually from Shepherd in the Valley. No, but did you get it, like, is it Stonebridge or something? Nope. Like this, I like to show off the food because it's the food that our residents eat. And it's really tasty, it's really good. Because I feel like over the years, the nursing homes have kind of gotten that unfortunate reputation that it's not good food, but it's very good food. Very good food.
I've heard that from clients.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you. It is yummy. I mean, we have meal plans, I mean, our residents have a good time with it. I mean, at all the different communities, I'll just recommend, Liberty, just because I know I see the residents, they go down, they sit and they have meals with their buddies, you know, it could be every single meal. They'll go sit in our happy hour lounge at our new Liberty community, we'll have a glass of wine, do an activity. I mean, they are active. They are very, very active, and that is something I'm so happy to see that. They can walk right out of their apartment, walk right down to the chapel for service. They could go do the raised gardens out on the courtyard if they want. They could play bocce. Oh, let me tell you, they're very competitive. They get out their tape measures. They've got shirts made. We have bocce and booze night. We've got so many fun. I know. It's true. I mean, this is why I say follow people on social media. See what activities that they're doing at these different senior living communities. It's a lot of fun. They really do. They have a lot of good, fun activities. So it's different from the way things were back in the day. It really is. And I tip my hat to our activity directors because they come up with so many different fun activities and trips and things that they can do to stay active. That's what it's all about, staying active. You know, no one wants to sit home alone and not interact with people all day long, you know? Gotta keep the mind going. Gotta keep it going. Yes, dear.
You mentioned you use a couple of elder care attorneys. Could you share their names?
Somebody local that's very close here, he's actually over on Market Street, is David Keast.
Last name is?
Keast, Keast. David Keast.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, he's right over here on Market Street. Actually, if you go to Market, turn right, about not even a mile down the road. He's wonderful. Really nice guy. Tell Lauren sent you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we love David. No, he's wonderful. He's done a bunch of downsizing seminars at Shepherd when we have these. Like I said, we would bring in like 5 people there because you don't want to do 10. 5's a good number because then, you know, you give everybody the speakers that come in, they get about 5 to 7 minutes to talk. You know, you hear from a financial planner, you hear from an elder attorney, you hear from a real estate agent, and they all give their own little tips and tricks. And then the second half of the presentation is having a one-on-one conversation. Because maybe you don't want to ask a question in front of the whole group, and we understand that. So then, you know, the specialists that come in, you can have a one-on-one conversation with. So, and David's done those a lot for us at Shepherd, so it's been very helpful. Any other questions that you have? And we'll be here, so yeah.
One thing about the attorneys, my in-laws, when you have to go to a nursing home, there is Cecilia and Shepherd, and he was going to a nursing home, so we went to the attorney, and that way they protected my mother-in-law, so all the money wouldn't go for her husband's care, so she would have the money to use too, so it was really beneficial for a couple.
And don't worry about the kids will survive themselves. Because a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to do that because, you know, so-and-so, I want to make sure she's taken care of, he's taken care of. No.
You also gotta take care of yourself too. I agree. Very important.
One thing that is really unique with Shepherd of the Valley, unlike other nursing homes, they have 2 chaplains on staff.
We do. Oh,
Yes.
we love them.
And a lot of other nursing homes do not I mean, they invite people to come in, pastors, but you have paid chaplains.
They're wonderful. If anybody ever just wanted to come and meet with them, they're the most warm, welcoming people. They're just, I remember when I met Pastor Clay and I saw him in Poland, I was working on something and I knew that he was slightly newer and he and I hadn't met. And he came in and he just introduced himself and we just started talking and I was like, God, I'm so glad that you're with Shepherd because he's just a wonderful man. And I told him that I was down in the private dining room at our Poland community and I said, oh, my grandma actually lives here. And I said her name and what room she's in. And about 2 hours later, I was out in the field working, of course, and my grandma called me. She said, I met the nicest man. He went right after meeting me, went right up to her room, introduced himself. They had a nice conversation, and she called me and said, what a nice man. You know, that's just the kind of people that they are. Anthony, he's not here with us today, but he's on the marketing team with us, and he's been a wonderful new hire. He's been with us just a little over a month, and on his very first day, he got a phone call, and it was an 330-856, and he didn't recognize it. He's like, oh, I don't know, and he, hit the button, and he put it back in his phone, and it was Pastor Chris Orr, calling and just introducing herself and welcoming Anthony to the team. Who does that, So, thank you for saying that, Deb. Appreciate that. Really good people.
Debbie has some background with Shepherd.
What's that?
Debbie has some background with Shepherd.
Oh. Well, it's good to always hear, good stories, good things. I mean, when my grandma fell and, my mom was distraught. She had no idea what to do, where to go, where to turn to, and she was very, very overwhelmed and very emotional. And I looked at her and I said, Mom. And she just, she didn't even she wasn't even thinking straight. You know what I mean? She's thinking about, oh gosh, I gotta deal with this and this and this and the big elephant and oh my gosh. And she said, but I gotta talk to an attorney. Okay, I got one for you. I mean, we've worked with so many of these amazing local resources that, we've actually put together what we call as a resident resource. So if a family member comes in, talks to Patty at Shepherd Boardman, and they're like, I really need to get in touch with a local attorney. She has a list. We've compiled these great local resources, people who we would recommend just because they've already helped residents that are at Shepherd, and we've heard the reviews from those families. So, yeah, we just want to help in any way that we can. Do you think you got some good tips and tricks today?
Very good.
Yeah, very good. I hope so. Well, yeah. I know it's a big elephant to eat, but like they say, one bite at a time. And if anybody has questions or would like to talk to myself or Patty afterwards privately, we'll be up here. Please help yourself. Take a bite home. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming.